Good afternoon, my friends. I've got to stay in. I've got a bit of a cold. Don't know what it is. I've had one of those weird tests, but I feel fine. But I thought I'll stay in anyway, just to wait for the results. You know, those COVID test things. But I feel fine. But I thought while I'm incarcerated, if you like, I would teach you something. I thought I'd explain how to use a capo. All right. Most people, beginners, they see these being used all the time, capo, and I'm going to explain how to use it because it's quite often they don't know where you'd put them on the neck, as I didn't when I first encountered this little device. I remember going into spending all my pocket money on a Beatles book to learn to play Here Comes the Sun, and it told me it was in the key of A, A, D, and E were the main chords, So I'm going, little darling, it's been a long... And I thought, well, it sort of sounds all right, but, it doesn't sound like George Harrison. And I went back to the shop and I said, this book's crap, He said, well, you know, I said, well, it says it's in the key of A, and it doesn't sound like... He goes, no, you need a capo. And I thought it was something you put on your head, because I was only a kid. He said, no, a capo, it's one of the... And he got this clamp out, and he put it on the guitar. In this case, he put it on at the 7th fret. He goes, now play it. Do you know how to do D? I looked at him with slight contempt. I said, yeah, I know how to play it. He goes, well, play a D there now. He goes, that's A. I said, well, no, how can it be A if it's D? You fool. And he goes, well, and he explained. I'm going to explain now. Look at my tuner. And I thought, hang on, it is. How can it be A if it's D? Well, and then he went on to explain, it's only D when it lives here. He sort of explained it like this. He goes, there's your D note. I'll leave this on. Go up the scale. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. He goes, just pretend the guitar doesn't work. I said, oh, brilliant. I said, what about the next chord in the song when it goes to, it goes to a D? He goes, well, play a G shape. I said, well, that's G. He goes, no, it isn't. It's now D. I was astounded. I said, well, he goes, well, your bass note for your G is there, and when it's only G when it lives there. When it's here, it's now. I said, well, what about the A? He goes, well, play it. He goes, that's now an E. I said, it's an A. He goes, no, the shape is, you fool. And he goes, it's only an A when it lives there. And he explained, and he went on about something to do with the cage system, which I completely didn't understand. So, it's dead easy when you know what it is. Caged, what does that mean? Is it some form of weirdy, when you see all these little things in books and all? No, it's a load of crap. All it means is that the main names of the chords that we all know. C, A, G, E, and D. Caged. Okay? First letter of each chord that we should all know. C, A, G, E, and D. Okay? And I'm going to explain now, hopefully, simply, on how that is so important, especially if you're into recording, because you don't want to be playing the same inversions. You've got 2 or 3 guitar players in your band. You don't all want to be playing, say, a D like this. It's boring and it's shit. You need to sort of experiment to get a beautiful wash of sound. And if you watch this tutorial and keep with me, you'll know how to do it. All right, so let's have a quick look at the main shapes. Now, this is the most important bit of the lesson. When you play a C like this, you have to know where the root note is, the bass note, if you like, for the chord. In this case, the C bass note is here on the 5th string. How do we know that that's correct? How do we know? Why isn't it on the 4th string, you might ask, if you're a beginner. I'll say, okay, well, presumably you all know the names of your 6 strings or the bass notes when you tune up. So I've told you that this is the C bass note. Now I got to prove it to you. We know it's A when it's open from our tuning. The first fret along is A sharp, because sharp means higher, or A higher, A sharp. B, straight to C, because there's nothing between B and C. A sharp, B, C. So whenever we're playing this shape, we must remember that this string is the root note for this shape. Important. The next cage system, A, is next. Oh, it's the 5th string again, but this time the 5th string is played open. Again, we know it from our tuning. I'm putting this finger here as if I was barring it, okay? But you'll see why in a minute. The next shape is G. I play my G like this. I'm doing it like this so I can demonstrate in case I was using a bar. There's our G bass note up here. We know it's there and not here because E. We know that from tuning. Fret 1 is F. Fret 2 is F sharp. Fret 3 is G. Okay, so we know what G is. It's important we remember. The E shape, we know that. It's one of the first ones we learn, and we know that the bass note for E is here because it's the E note, isn't it? So whenever I move this shape up and down, that will always be the bass note, okay? Again, I'll go into a little bit more detail in a minute. And D, the last one of the cage, you know, the name of the word caged, we know that the bass note is here because that's the D note and that's the D chord. So C, A, G, E, D. Caged. Okay, now let's assume for a minute that somebody was playing a song in you know with D in it. Say that we just wanted to know how to play the different inversions of D, for example. Okay, and somebody's already bagsied this chord here. And like I said before, we don't want to use the same inversion because it just sounds boring, okay? So I'm going to use the cage system to find other ways of playing the chord D, for example. And don't forget it works with all the relative chords that go with it, you know, all the ones, you know, like, I'll get there in a minute. I'm going to use the shape C, but I want to play it as a D. So I'm going to go C, I'm going to move it up the neck, C sharp, D. Oh, great. Is that it? No, because we've got all these open strings hanging around. We can't have that. So let me just do this for a minute. I'm going to replace the 3 fingers that you would normally use with these 3. And I'm going to just put that finger there to take the place of this nut, okay? Not me. This, right? So move it up 1, C sharp. Remember, this is the bass note. And then finally, if we look at our our tuner, we can see now that that is in the right position as a D. This is really difficult to play, so I would say I'm going to play it like that. It's too hard. I'll put this here. Classical players would play it the way I've just done, but this isn't a classical guitar. Okay, so there's our C shape. We've established where the capo goes because of the bar thing I just did before when we moved it up, and we'll just check that it's actually playing the chord D now. Oh, and there we are. So it's a C shape, but it's now the chord D, all right? And we know it's the chord D because the bass note here is pointing at the note D. If, say I wanted to play the chord E with the same shape, I'd move it up 2 more frets until this finger was pointing at the note E, which in this case it is, all right? Anyway, so we've done a D using the shape C. Now I'm going to do the D using the shape A, okay? So we know A as this. If I move it up, ooh, cramp. If I move it up 1 fret, I'd have to put a bar across here to cover the bass note there. It's A sharp, move it up again. B, move it up again. C, move it up again. C sharp, move it up again. D. Okay. A is the bass note there, where the nut is. When moved up to there, the bass note's still the same string. So when that becomes a D, we know that we're in the right position, and then we'll replace this with our capo, all right? The 5th fret. Let's check it with our tuner. There we are. You get the idea. It's getting there, isn't it? The next shape is a G. We're going to play a G shape, but we want to play the chord D. We know G is this one here, and we established before that's the bass note. So again, I'll just move it up, right the way up the neck. Okay, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. I'll put that there just to give you an idea. Okay, so that would be where the capo would go. Why would I put that finger there? Imagine that I was down here. There's one clear fret, isn't there, before the nut? So when I'm here, there's one clear fret before the capo. All right, so I'll put that there. And there we have our G shape, but playing the chord D. The next shape, E. Okay, I'm going to play it with these three fingers as opposed to those, so I can do this. So imagine that my finger's playing that nut thing. There's E. Move it up. F. You'll know this one anyway, we use it all the time. F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. We know that we're at the right position because this bass string here, my phone, this bass string here, we know is the bass string for the chord E. So it's going to be the bass string for whatever we do with that shape. So when we hit the note D, we know that we're in the right place. So we shall put our capo on. Where did I put it? Here we are. And we'll just check with the tuner. Okay, so, and then finally we've got our D for caged, just to make the D. So we can use this one down here. There's our D. Okay, so there's our D there. We've got our D there. We've got our D here. We've got our D here. And we've got our other D here. Alright, and don't forget all the chords that live with those shapes, they all fit as well. And that's how you do it, alright? So say you were playing a song in G, C and D. Okay, so G, you know, and you wanted to sing it in the key of A because it was too low for you, you just put your capo on here. But you know, you can use the same shapes now. Okay, still too low, you might think. Okay, now what's that chord? Say I was playing that and you said, oh, I don't know what that chord is. Well, where's the G? There's your G chord. What's the bass note? Work out where it is on the neck. Work out what that note is. G. It's the G shape, but what's that pointing at? In this case, it's pointing at the note C. Go away! If I was playing the shape C at this point, that would be, that's the note F. So the chord is F. This here, that's the bass note. The bass note here is the open string, or at the capo position. In this case, it's G. How do we know that? Because my capo tells us. Do you get the idea? Okay. So there's a little crash course in how to use a capo. All right. I'm going to do Angie by the Stones a bit later. I think I'm going to be incarcerated for a week. I've just taken one of those PCR tests. I feel fine though, you know. I've had all my jabs and all that. So if I've got the dreaded C, then you're going to be seeing a lot of me in the next few days. Okay. Yeah, it's going to muck up my Christmas though, isn't it? But then, hey, I've got you lot out there to keep me company. So whatever happens, we're going to have some fun, okay? Any suggestions, let me know. All right, catch you soon. Bye. Give this a go. Paperwork on the link below, all free. And do me a favour. I want you to spread the word to all your mates out there. Tell them, you know, to subscribe to the channel. I've got 6,000 now, which is great, so thank you for that. But I want 10,000. I want more. I don't want to have 6. I want 60,000. You know. So do me a favour. That's all I ask you. If you want to give me a Christmas present, get all your mates to subscribe. Tell them it's free. Tell them it's, you know. Just do it for me. It's not much to ask. Thank you.